Glad you asked. No free ads, but this is Barsha, tasting room in Los Angeles. It's a great place to go to drink some wine.
Barsha.
Barsha. I mean, it's like these really cool guys from, or this family, I guess, from Tunisia. This husband and wife, they have like a Tunisian restaurant called Barsha, and then they've got a wine tasting room like down the road called Barsha Wine and Spirits, and like that was the first place that I've ever been a wine member at. So we would go there like once or twice a month and get 20% off of all the food because we were members, and it was cool.
Is it bougie, or is it for an everyman, or what's the deal there?
I think it's accessible even if you're not into wine. Like it's also like an alcohol shop. So, and you can get beer and you can get food there, and like jams and stuff. So like, it's kind of it's sort of like a bottle shop on half of it, and just spirits and stuff. And then the other half is just tables where you can chill.
You had any good spirits lately?
Any good spirits? Oh yeah, man. I had this Clase Azul margarita the other day.
Blue House.
Ooh. Oh my gosh, it was amazing.
Yeah. I do miss margaritas.
How about you? Yeah? Are you, but you're mocktailing, right?
Not really.
You're getting better at that?
I decided I wasn't going to continue to spend $30 a bottle on that fake tequila, that alcohol-free tequila. Yeah. Just seemed a little excessive. So when I feel like I want a little taste of something, I've been kind of going with the non-alcoholic beers. Right now, tonight,
O'Doul's.
Right now, I'm having an O'Doul's.
Baby.
I partake in some Bud Zeros after hockey games on Thursday nights. Those usually go down pretty smooth. I actually, this past Saturday was 300 days sober.
Whoa, hey.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Hold on. I know. Can you say that one more time?
Yeah, we'll go back. So actually this past Saturday, I celebrated 300 days of sobriety.
Oof. Wow. Oh my gosh. That is just, that's right. Yeah, everybody.
Thank you. Back last summer, I was putting down a lot of tequila. I mean, no, we're not going to clap for that one. I think looking back on it, I was probably drinking like a bottle of tequila, maybe two a week or so, 2.5 a week. Yeah,
just going for it.
We had a problem on our hands, so I cold turkey, man, cold turkey. It's not easy, but it's been worth it.
Good for you. Good for you, and congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a cool streak to have and to maintain.
Yeah, and a lot of people will ask, like, well, don't you feel like you could just like maybe just have a drink, a margarita? And I really feel like
what do you think?
I think it's like a mental thing. Like, I think if I had a margarita tonight, I think I would feel like I blew the streak. And rather than like trying to start a new streak or something, I would just kind of say fuck it and end up spiraling. So I'm trying to just keep it going.
That is some excellent. No need. That is some excellent self-awareness.
Thank you. I'll tell you
because
maybe the best part about. We're talking over each other heavier here early. That's all right. Let me go and then you can go. The best part about this sobriety thing, I think. Outside of just feeling better and, the health benefits, my relationship with my mom, Jeannie. Jeannie's a saint. But my relationship with Jeannie has increased and improved like tenfold because she worried about, my behavior when I was drinking and what kind of trouble I could get myself into. And now that she doesn't have to worry about that, our relationship is tangibly better. And I love that.
That's wonderful. That's really wonderful. Because it doesn't have to weigh on either of your minds. In part, I guess that's a bit of it, right?
Yeah. Yep. You got it.
That's great.
So what are you celebrating?
That's excellent stuff for it. What am I celebrating lately? I can't even say this number in Espanol, but I am celebrating 1,100 day Duolingo streak.
Ooh.
And that precedes like our last trip to Rosarito by like 3 weeks. So in like 3 weeks before our last trip there, and you've been to Rosarito with us.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's wonderful. 3 weeks before our last trip there, I started really taking Duolingo seriously, and then just kept going and was streaking on it. So, yeah, I think I'm at 1,105 today.
Have you seen a marked improvement in your language skills? Like, is it obvious?
Yeah, but I've also noticed that I'm prone to having pretty long, like longer and longer streaks where I'm just going through the motions to get the streak, just to check off the streak. Instead of like sitting there and actually thinking and looking at it, spending time with it, trying to assign it to memory. I haven't been able to do that recently, and I feel like it's malo. What's
the minimum amount of time that you would give yourself credit for doing Duolingo that day and continuing the streak? Like, is 5 minutes of it like considered a session, or?
Yeah, and almost not even that in some cases.
But you're opening it up and you're doing it.
Yeah, I'm opening it up every day and doing it.
Give me a word that you've recently maybe learned or stumbled upon that you are it's singed into your memory. What's a word that you've developed lately in your skills?
Lleno, full.
Lleno, full, yeah. Like in terms of like eating, like estoy lleno, I'm full.
Sí.
It's good.
¿Qué más?
I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Acompañar.
To come with? To accompany?
Sí.
Do you feel like if you were blindfolded and dropped off in a part of Mexico with no English speaking whatsoever, if that happened to you, don't worry about the dangers at hand of like cartels and whatever, but just in terms of like getting by, do you feel like you have the language skills that could navigate your way out of that situation?
100%.
Yeah, good.
Hold on. Let me tell you, 1,105%.
That's strong.
Is what I would say right now. Tomorrow it might go even higher.
It's good to have, because I actually think that my language skills helped me out of an extremely scary situation in the middle of non-English speaking Mexico.
What happened?
We were in Mexico for a friend's destination wedding. On the last night before we were leaving, a couple that we didn't know except for meeting them at the wedding, they got into a huge fight and broke up. The guy was kind of a loose cannon. You could tell that from the start. He had been talking about wanting to go to cockfights, and he lived life in the fast lane. So him and his girl break up on the last night, and he comes to me and this other guy and says, "Yeah, man, let's go to the fucking strip club. I'm buying. Let's go." So we go to the strip club. I intentionally did not take my wallet because I thought I don't want to be put in a situation where I end up having to pay for this little outing. He said it was on him. I don't want to get caught with a hefty bill. So we go to the strip club, spend the evening there, drinking Bud Lights, buying Bud Lights for the strippers. And at the end of the night, the manager, whoever comes up and
gives
the guy
Bud Lights for the strippers.
Yeah, we each had one that was like just kind of hanging out with us, and like, yeah, you were buying them drinks. So yeah, it was a whole thing.
So he was buying them drinks because you left your wallet.
Supposedly. So at the end of the night, after a couple hours of accompaniment and Bud Lights, which are expensive there, he has brought the bill, and it's like $500. And this guy, this loose cannon, he looks at it and goes, "I'm not fucking paying for this." And I looked at the other guy who had come with us. He was semi-normal like me. And I was like, this isn't an option, man. I don't think this is like a barter it down kind of situation. And I could tell things were kind of escalating. And I told the guy, I'm like, "Hey, if you can't find me in a couple minutes, I made a break for it." So, this.
Oh my gosh.
This strip club, the way it was built, it was up on stilts, I suppose, to protect against flood damage, water damage, or white people trying to escape on their $500 bill. So the building is raised up. So I go out the back door and I find myself on essentially what is like just a back patio kind of, I don't know if you're supposed to be out there or not, but it was either go out the front door, which wasn't happening, or go out on the back patio in the darkness of Mexico and jump off the back patio and make a break for it that way. So obviously I decided that option B was the option I was going to go with. So I kind of just jumped into the darkness and I landed on my feet, and it was, I don't remember how far it was. I couldn't even begin to estimate, but I just started walking, and I had ridden into town on a little motorcycle the day before. So I'm like, yeah, I know how to get back to the hotel. It's just a straight shot. So I start walking, and I keep walking, and I'm walking, and it's taken forever because I'm on foot. I'm not on a motorcycle anymore. And every time I see headlights, I lay down on the side of the road so as to not be seen. And this happens a couple of times. And at this point, I feel like I've been walking for a couple hours, and I don't know for certain that I'm heading in the right direction, but I think I am. And I see these headlights coming, so I lay down on the side of the road. And I can feel and see that the headlights stop, and I've been made. So I get up, and it is the Mexican police. And
the policia.
La policía, sí. And the policia tell me in Spanish that, yeah, we know you're one of the gringos from the nightclub, you know, pay la cuenta, blah, blah, blah. I'm shirtless. I've got on like really short shorts, just this drunken white idiot walking through Mexico in the middle of the night. And I tell a lie, like, no, that's not me. I wasn't with them, which was an obvious lie. So anyway, I tell the policeman where I'm staying, and I tell him my situation. And he tells me to get on the back of the motorcycle because he had ridden up on a motorcycle. There was also like a paddy wagon, and I
get on the back of my motorcycle.
I thought for sure I was going to Mexican jail. I'm supposed to be at the airport in just a handful of hours. So I get on the back of this motorcycle, shirtless. I have my arms around the guy's waist, and he drives me like what I remember to be like 1 minute, and he drops me off at the front entrance to the hotel. I almost made it. But I honestly think that even though I was lying, and he probably knew I was lying, I think my Spanish-speaking skills helped me out in that situation. It had the potential to be a rough situation. One of the scarier nights.
It sounds like it was regardless. It sounds like it was a rough situation, to be honest. But it had the potential to be catastrophic.
It was. And while I was in the wind, the loose cannon had pushed like the bouncer or something and gotten put in the back of a cop car. Yeah, I was curious. What happened to this guy? So he pushes the bouncer. He gets thrown in the back of a cop car. The other normal guy is like, well, let me go back to the hotel and try to figure this out. So he goes.
So how did he get back?
I think maybe, I don't know for sure if he took a taxi or if like the club owner took him or what, but he goes back to the hotel.
The club owner took him. Can you imagine? You owe me $500. I guess I'm taking you to go get this money.
That happened to me in Jamaica. I was in Jamaica, and the girl I was with at the time, we rented a moped, and we rode up into the mountains, the Blue Mountains of Jamaica, had a fun day or whatever. And we were coming back, and she says, hey, you drove on the way. How about you just relax, get on the back, I'll drive back. So she's driving back, and the turn, we needed to make a left turn, but it kind of snuck up on her. So she looks to see if it is her turn, and when her head turned, her hands went with her, and she just fucking tipped that moped over, and we did some damage to the moped. Yeah, she did some damage to it. So we ride it back into town.
Did you get hurt?
I landed on my feet like a cat. There's something about me landing on my feet. I don't really know. She actually tore all the hide off her leg from like her knee down to her ankle. It was gross. Like we were pouring rum in it, and when she had to shower and scrub the gravel out of her leg, it was painful to watch, man. But yeah, so we take the motorcycle back to the moped place, and I thought, well, maybe he won't notice, and we can just go before he notices. No, he noticed the damage to his bike. So he gave us a price.
Immediately.
Yeah, he gave us the price of what the damage was, and I didn't have that on me in cash. So I had to ride on the back of the motorcycle with him into downtown to grill, go to the ATM, take out a bunch of cash, and have him drive me back. So I'm starting to notice a pattern here of when I go abroad, I end up on the back of motorcycles. But anyway, so the guy in Mexico, he's in the back of the cop car. The other guy goes back to the hotel. He can't talk to the loose cannon's ex-girlfriend. They just broke up. She doesn't give a shit if he rots in Mexican jail. He goes to his wife's room and tries to explain the situation. She's like, I don't give a shit. I'm going to bed. So then he went to my girl's room and knocked on the door. And she's like, where's Kurt? He's like, I don't know how to tell you this, but I don't know. They got him in handcuffs at the strip club. We need $500, blah, blah, blah. So she actually paid the money to get him out of the cop car. Then she paid a taxi driver to drive around looking for me. Who knows if she was one of the headlights that drove by and I'm laying on the side of the road in the fetal position trying not to be seen. But, yeah, the dude actually, I mean, he actually ended up paying her back via a couple of like money orders or traveler's checks in the mail. And just to top it off, he was the son of a former St. Louis Cardinals pitcher from the 90s. Do you remember Tom Henke?
I do not remember Tom Henke.
He wore like glasses or rec specs. He kind of threw a little sidearmy. But anyway, it was his son. And he paid her back in a couple of installments. It was a scary night. I sometimes reflect on it and wonder, like, if I could change the way I handled that, would I? And I think, obviously, I would say maybe I wouldn't have gone to the strip club with the loose cannon anyway. But assuming that part can't change, I think I do everything the same. Like, I was in a tough situation where I couldn't pay the bill, and, you know, it was fight or flight, and I went into flight, and I flew off the roof of that strip club, and
landed on your feet.
And became a stronger man because of it. And I do honestly think the speaking Spanish part helped me a little bit.
I love it. I love it. I'm still listening, still recording. I'm just going to start the oven over here. But I really I like the story about resilience, really, is what it's about.
Yeah, it was something. I hope to not be in those situations anymore. For a while, I kind of made like a self-imposed rule where if you go abroad, you do not leave the resort. You stay inside the gates of the resort. But I have not followed that, and we're still here.
I try not to follow it once a trip.
I actually like staying. Like I've been to Tulum a couple of times down south of Cancun, a little ways, and I like to stay in the town in like these Airbnbs, which are, you know, they're in the middle of the pueblo. They're unprotected. It's not like you don't have the security of a resort. And I like that. It feels like a more authentic experience that way. When's the last time you were out of the country? Costa Rica?
Costa Rica in January.
I miss it.
It was a great time.
Yeah.
It was a great
I remember
time.
the fish story stuck with me.
Yeah. It was. We talked about it here on the old podcast, I think. And we're going to try to get out of the country again in October.
Where are you going?
To Mallorca in Spain.
Ooh, and, I've always wanted to do Spain.
We went there like 3 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
And I had a freaking blast. It's beautiful. We had this 7-course meal. Every time they what? It was just this guy who every time he came up, and he came up often, he went to the table. He knew that we were celebrating like a special occasion, and literally for 7 courses, he was the one serving the drink, and he was the one serving the food, and it was like, please, please, please. I'd be like, oh, thanks, man. Please, please, please. And that's how I'm going to remember that guy.
What was his name?
I hope we run into him again. Oh my gosh. I want to say Zed, but I don't think that's right. I feel bad, but we're going back to the same place. So it was enough to bring us out again.
If it's meant to be, you'll see him again.
I will see him again. And I hope that, I will see him again.
It sounds like you guys had some natural chemistry, and I think it would be a shame if you didn't get a chance to reconnect and, you know.
Yeah, otherwise it's just this unrequited friendship that who knows what it could have been.
Yeah, it stinks living with regret. I can tell you've got a big one here, so I feel for you.
Yeah, freaking stinks.
If you ran into...
I'm going to start saying that more.
What, that stinks?
That stinks.
Like, your attitude really stinks right now.
Yeah, that stinks.
If you ran into Zed again and continued whatever friendship that you guys seem to have blossomed the first time, and then he wrote to you or contacted you and was coming to California and asked to stay with you, would you let him?
Absolutely. That's another 100% for me. Not only would I let him, but the first word out of my mouth would have been, please. Please.
Perfect.
Please.
That's perfect.
This guy was amazing. And just super kind. And everyone there was.
All right. I want to throw something out there, and it's a pretty big endeavor. So we can put it in the maybe column, but you can at least give me your thoughts on it. Something I've always wanted to do, it's been on my bucket list, is to go to Spain in early July to Pamplona for the running of the bulls. Ooh. And it happens to really be close. It falls very near to my birthday, the 6th of July. So I always thought maybe Pamplona. For a fun birthday, it would be fun to do Spain and do the running of the bulls and the tomato festival thingy and just do it big. So, I'm turning 37 here in less than a month. It ain't happening this year, obviously. Maybe.
Oh, I thought you were gonna break some news.
No, I wish. Maybe for my 40th, we could go to Pamplona and run with the bulls. What do you think about that?
Pamplona. I am in. I'm just in. Let's do it.
Okay, I love it. I love the spontaneity.
I have no... How do you spell Pamplona? Pamplona?
Yeah, it's very phonetic.
Part of me... First off, I'm not a huge tomato eater.
Nor am I.
So the tomato fest, it'll probably be cool. I'm not saying it's not going to be cool. It sounds cool.
It's a giant tomato fight out in the streets. Are you aware of it?
It sounds familiar, but I don't know much about it. Is there much more to know about it?
It
sounds like one of those European traditions to me. Like breaking a plate or something after dinner.
Yeah, and I feel like at some point I've looked up the origin. I feel like I want to say it was some sort of activist, maybe Spain's version of the Boston Tea Party.
Really, the tomatoes?
And they threw tomatoes in protest of something. I could be way off the mark. I'm not sure. But I do think it's just one of those traditions that has been kept. And yeah, it sounds like just thousands of people line the streets and it's just a giant tomato fight. Have you ever seen have you ever seen video of the running of the bulls?
Yes.
It looks like it has
some close calls and stuff. Would you? Okay. Hold on. Let me just write down my questions so I don't forget both of them.
Yeah, please. While he's writing, we're going to take this time to mention our sponsor, O'Doul's. It is a golden non-alcoholic brew. It is brewed by Anheuser-Busch right here in St. Louis, Missouri. And for those of us trying to hit the vibes without the alcohol, it's a great thing. Cheers. Salud.
Cheers.
Did you get a chance to write down your questions?
I want to have a beer. I did, and it's only 2 questions. I'm going to go get a beer while I ask the first question. Okay?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay. Actually, here's an if question, just to legitimize this fucking show. If
I don't know if he knows that we can't hear him. I don't know if he's actually talking, but we can't. So right now it's just you and I. I want to thank anybody who's listening. It's probably single digits of you, judging by the YouTube numbers. TikTok's a little better with our little clips. So for whatever reason, yeah, there you are.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I can continue hearing you. All right. If you were running with the bulls in Pamplona, age 41. Let's say there's another COVID outbreak or something, and you just couldn't make it out. Yeah. 41. Are you running in the front of the crowd, or are you airing towards the back of the crowd to antagonize the bulls, like the YouTube video guys that you kind of see?
I have no interest in antagonizing these giant animals in any way. If those are my 2 options,
You simply want to run with them.
Yeah. I don't want to be gored. I don't want to be trampled. I know that's an extremely hot take, but none of that interests me. I want to be part of it. I don't just want to watch it. I do want to get out there and run. I want to wear like the white jumpsuit with the red kerchief or whatever it is. I want the full cultural experience. But I will not be. I don't want to antagonize the bull. And I'm kind of actually, I'm a little bit conflicted because do you know what happens after the bulls run through the streets?
Are they slaughtered then?
Well, they're led to the stadium where they have the bullfighting. And
like bulls fighting bulls, or
no, like bulls fighting the matador.
The bullfighters, the matador, yeah.
And they poke them and stab them with those long like spear things, and it doesn't. I don't think PETA would be on board, so I'm kind of conflicted. I'm not like. I wish we could just do the running and then just not have the stab them with the spear part.
Well, what if one? Let's say one stabs you. It just kind of gets like it gets a little bit of your shoulder meat. And you walk out of it just fine. You're gonna be fine. Yeah. But do you think you won't be vindictive about that bull getting stabbed back?
Did I personally instigate with the bull, or did I just catch some shrapnel?
You weren't asking for it necessarily, but you were kind of lagging behind because you really wanted to feel the bull's presence. And you did it. Like it caught up to you and got a piece of you.
I feel like that's it's what you sign up for. I think it would just be a good little war story. Good story for the pod.
But you're not in the heat of the moment in July in Spain. You're running with bulls.
Yeah, toros.
Los toros. So I feel like at that moment I would want revenge on the bull that got a hold of me. Or at that point you're like, no, it's just not the bull's fault.
I think I lean more towards the latter.
Yeah, I guess you're right because they're the ones that were released into the street.
They're put in a tough spot there.
How do you think they choose the bulls?
I couldn't even begin to answer that. I literally have no idea. I don't know if it's like a male female or if it's the strongest or the weakest or the fastest. I really don't know. Something to look into before we go.
It is actually. It really is because you want to know the breed. I'm sure there's different types of bulls. Some you got to look out for more. And they're beasts. They're literally beasts.
I probably just should.
Where do they exist naturally? Where do bulls just exist naturally? In Spain?
I don't know. It seems like a. All right, I was getting ready to ask
like a
this.
Farm animal.
Are bulls by definition just male?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. So there's no female bulls.
No. But if one could break that barrier, I think it would be good for society.
I'm surprised with how woke we are that hasn't happened yet.
No cows can break into the bull category.
One of these cows is gonna grab that brass ring and break that glass ceiling and really identify as a bull, and that'd be funny if a cow identified as a bull and ended up being like, well, I'm gonna do the running of the bulls this year, and it did.
And there was a bull committee that was like, I'm sorry, like we can't really allow you to do that. It just wouldn't be. Do you think people would be up in arms?
I think it would be funny if they actually let it do it, and then like all the people were like saw through the bullshit, and they were like picking on it and pulling its tail and kind of bullying it. No pun intended.
Oh my gosh!
Hey, speaking of bull, I know you saw. I talked to you the other day, but how about the surprise concert that I got to work?
Oh my gosh! Yeah, you had the distinct honor of working a surprise concert in which you knew who the surprise guest would be several hours before others did.
Yeah, we got to cater an event called Summer Smash, put on by the company
So
first.
Smash!
Yeah, hell yeah. And it's a supplement company, very, very fitness centric, but they put on Summer Smash. And the CEO, Andy Frisella, he's got fuck you money, and he puts on a big ass party every year. And this year for Summer Smash, there was advertised musical entertainment, but as far as I know, nobody knew who it was. And when I went to go set up the event that morning, they were doing sound check, and only one artist songs were being played during sound check. And tapping into
what artist would that be? Would that be Mr. Townie?
Who?
Mr. City Man?
No, you got to go bigger.
Mr. Country Guy?
No, bigger than the country.
What about Mr. Hemisphere?
Double it. Double the size of that.
Hold on. Are you talking about the Mr. Worldwide?
Mr. Worldwide, dale. Pitbull. Fucking Pitbull, dude.
Pitbull showed up. And did he just turn everything up?
I mean, it was he's got high energy. It was a lot of fun. The people really seemed to enjoy it. But I felt like I was in the know because of that sound check. And I knew before everybody else, man. I heard those songs and I'm like, it's gotta be Pitbull. And then sure enough, fucking Pitbull comes out. He was the opener.
He was the opener?
Yeah, and there was a second act. Really wasn't my cup of tea. It had some decent energy, but whatever. Are you familiar with Diplo?
I am not. I have heard the name, but I couldn't tell you any songs by Diplo.
Diplo is like more of a DJ, I would say. He's got some collaborations with pretty high profile. He might have one with Bieber. I think he's got one with Morgan Wallen, like a little country house crossover. But yeah, man, fucking Pitbull. It was a hell of a party. And it was I'm gonna be real with you here for a second. Is that cool?
Okay. Yeah.
So over the last 300 days of no drinking, I've also taken my health and like fitness pretty seriously, and I feel like I've gotten in relatively good shape. Best shape I've been in. Is there room for improvement? Absolutely, but for me, it's been pretty good. But this,
I mean, let's just hold on. Let's pause and just recognize what you kind of skipped over one clause in that statement. That's worth celebrating.
What?
Best shape I've ever been in.
Yeah, and I'm happy about that, and I reflect upon that a little bit. But going to Summer Smash and being at a party with essentially just a couple thousand like fitness models really put things in perspective. I was maybe the least in shape person on the premises at Summer Smash, and it was startling. Really? Every man and woman, there was a girl in a wheelchair that was in better physical condition than me.
Were her arms pretty jacked?
I mean, they had to be.
Was she toned or?
Oh yeah, for sure. And actually, there's a pretty cool video out there from the stage, like from Diplo's point of view. And I think the tagline is like something like, "We lift everybody up." And you look out in the crowd, and the chick in the wheelchair is like essentially like crowd surfing, and all the people are like raising her up, and she's crowd surfing in the wheelchair. It's pretty fucking badass.
That's pretty sweet. I bet they're all like doing shoulder presses, you know?
I mean, all the dudes.
It's like a group shoulder press.
All the dudes were either shirtless or in tank tops, and they all looked like they could play middle linebacker in the NFL, all jacked. And like I said, it was like I had been feeling pretty good about my fitness level, but these dudes and ladies, because the ladies were jacked too, made me realize that I'm just a fuckboy still. But that's all right.
Don't sell yourself short.
Yeah.
I'm writing that last line down because it's funny, but don't sell yourself short.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was a lot of fun. Andy Frisella sure as hell knows how to throw a party. We were so damn busy, man. We were, pardon me, we sold brisket, pork, or turkey sandwiches. We were running out of food so fast that I called my boss and I was like, "Hey, man, I don't know if you can get near over here and bring more food, but
it's a protein.
We're gonna run out very quickly." And he brought me some more turkey and some more shit. and we were doing pulled pork nachos for people. Those were going over big.
Good.
And at one point, I see our inventory of tortilla chips, and it's dwindling big time. And I called the store, and he's like, "We don't have any. We won't be able to get you any, blah, blah, blah." So on the fly, I made the decision that we were going to take all these little single-serve bags of Ruffles and open them up and dump them into this container. And on the fly, we started making pulled pork nachos on Ruffles. And people kept buying them, man. We had a line of like 60 people deep for just hours on end. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work. Awesome. I worked a 14-hour day that day. I got a little bit of a sunburn, but it was a fucking blast, man. At one point, all the work was done, and I kind of got to sit down and relax. And I'm looking at the stage, and people are having fun, and I'm just kind of soaking it all in. And fireworks start going off, and it was very picturesque. It was a very scenic moment.
Awesome.
And I kind of just kicked back, and I like thought to myself, I'm like, it is crazy how different life is at this moment than it was a year ago. Because like a year ago, I was kind of going through a rough point in my life, kind of with mental health, drinking a lot. I was thinking mostly along the lines of like my job, because a year ago I was essentially babysitting 5-year-olds, and on this night I was leading the catering for a multi-million-dollar pit bull and Diplo party. And I was just like, what a fucking world, baby. What a world.
What a year. What a year.
What a year.
I mean, yeah, I think you should do something nice for yourself for day 365.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about what it would look like when I get to that year point. And, I mean, I don't really hold back. I take care of myself pretty good. I really don't want for much. But I'll have to come up with something to kind of, assuming I get to that point, like to celebrate the year. You got any ideas? You're just clapping.
I'm just excited for you. I love what you've done with yourself over the last year. It's inspiring, and things could have turned so many different directions.
I appreciate the kind words.
But let me get back to a couple of questions that I had.
Yeah.
And the first one that comes to mind, we'll call this 1A.
Okay.
Is let's go back to Pamplona.
Yeah.
You're running with the Bulls, right?
Sure.
Do you think anyone's ever been there who maybe got gored, or maybe they didn't and they just had a rough day, that day running with the Bulls, and they're like,
yeah,
why don't we run with some other type of animal? I'm going to organize like a running with the pandas.
I hear those pandas. Is it pandas or is it koalas? I don't know. One of those two can be quite nasty.
Yeah, you still got to get away from them, but it's a different type of, it's a different type of threat, I guess.
Have you ever heard about
running with the kangaroos?
Now, I've seen those get nasty. I saw a video a couple years ago of a guy whose dog was getting attacked by a kangaroo, and he walks up to try to save his dog, and the kangaroo kind of squares up to him, and this dude just hauls off and just clocks the kangaroo. And the kangaroo, well, he just threw the one punch, and the kangaroo was kind of startled, and the dog runs away, and then the guy just backed away. But the kangaroos are fucking jacked too, man.
Yeah, they're nuts. Okay,
I think I saw a couple kangaroos. What other animal?
What other animal would you? What animal would you not run with because you're like, no.
Anything with wings?
Like oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. To all of our listeners, I forgot that D'Angelo does not do well with birds.
Birds, bats. If there was a high enough concentration of butterflies, that would probably fuck me up a little bit too. I don't fuck with anything with wings.
You've never been to the butterfly house there in St. Louis?
I don't believe so, and it sounds...
It's a magical experience.
It sounds like nightmare fuel.
I would say sharks for me. Running with the sharks, I couldn't do it.
I feel like I could outrun a shark. If the shark's on
I could
land,
outrun a
I'm
shark,
good.
but I feel like, I don't know, somehow it's just its own speed on land. Well, I'm not dealing well with
that. Have you ever heard what to do if you are being pursued by an alligator?
No.
You run in a serpentine pattern because they have really good straight line speed, But if you start running zigzaggy and the serpentine like shape, it really slows them down, and you should be good.
It sounds like the 3-cone drill in the NFL Combine or something. So if you're really good at that, then you can probably elude an alligator.
Have you ever eaten alligator?
Yeah, I've had alligator tail like in Florida, I think.
Thoughts?
It was good. I remember it being like a little chewy maybe, but it was good. All right, final question.
Yeah.
And this one's has not aged well in my mind, so I'm thinking it's dumb, but I'm going to try to deliver it as well as possible.
Okay.
Going back to Pamplona.
Yeah.
You're in this tomato fight, right? You know it's coming up. Let's say it's March, April. Things are starting to warm up there, in the Pamplona, the greater Pamplona area.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm going to plant tomatoes to fuel myself for this fight. Do you try to plant tomatoes that are like harder and thicker, or are you throwing cherries?
I mean, I'm not.
It's all kind of been good fun, right?
I was gonna say I'm not really trying to hurt anybody, and I don't think my shoulder has the
hurt anybody. It's a tomato.
Well,
tomato.
I mean, you fucking hit somebody in the side of the dome with a nice solid tomato. It's gonna probably do a little damage.
Yeah, I think an heirloom, you could probably get someone concussed.
Yeah, I don't want to hurt anybody. I just want to enjoy the fellowship and the merriment that is the Tomatina Festival. I bet you didn't think the word merriment was going to be used in tonight's podcast, did you?
No. In fact, I would like to name that word the word of the podcast.
Merriment?
Merriment is the word of the podcast. So, merriment, everybody.
God, you're really spoiling me tonight with all the rounds of applause. Thank you. You know, I told you this story too, but I wrote it down as something I wanted to share on here just because I thought it would make for a decent, some of our not so great dating stories have gone over well on TikTok. And
what do you think that's about? You think people just like dating stories?
I do. I think that like a lot of the stuff that we talk about can kind of be a little inside jokey. We mentioned names of people, like when we talked about Insect Men, like nobody knows Ryan Hoffman, and we talked about, but I think the dating stories, a lot of people can relate to.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody, for the most part, has been there or can kind of relate to those. But I did something in the last week in the dating world that I doubt it's unprecedented, but not many people can say they've pulled this off.
And what would that be?
That would be essentially getting dumped by somebody that you're not actually dating, nor have you even really like gone out with live and in person. So if you're saving rounds of applause, you can give me another one right here if you're happy about that one.
No, I'm not happy about that one necessarily.
Is there a booing sound effect?
I'm looking into it. I don't see it. It's mostly positive sound effects.
We try to be an uplifting pod.
We do. We really do. What do you think? Oh, didn't see that coming.
What was that?
Little drum roll joke.
I missed it.
Yeah, it was a bad placement. So this relationship, was mostly text based, I assume.
Yeah.
Maybe a few Snapchats.
I mean, zero text messages. We did not text back and forth with our phone numbers even once. We exchanged numbers, however, we did not use them. It was all via Messenger, Snapchat, and Instagram DMs. Why they switched from one to the other, not quite sure.
Were you the one to switch them, or did you let her switch?
I just responded to whichever medium the communication came in on.
So you were just respond. You were truly just responding. This was an unprompted relationship. Like
no, I don't want to classify it like I was just responding to messages. There was times where I sent the first message of communication, and that given circumstance. He's dipped out again. He can probably hear me, but I can't hear him if he's talking. He'll be back. He always comes back. This makes for great podcast and radio, though.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I'm sorry. Yeah, this does make for great and stories, doesn't it? What, you know what? We need to. Okay, let me. We've got, let's say, 8 minutes left. Okay.
Yeah.
Until we hit about an hour. We are 9 episodes. This is episode 9 that we've gone in, which is exciting, and also we're celebrating. It's not 300, but it's 9.
Yeah.
And I feel like you and we need to find some sort of central purpose, or some sort. I mean, is it the if thing? How do we make this show better? Do we just focus it on dating? Do we come more prepared?
I'm torn because I do love when we I feel like we've just had some really spontaneous conversations and moments that end up being kind of humorous. We've also had I know we've had at least one full episode. It might have been our last one where we basically neither one of us had anything ready to go, and it just was kind of dull.
We weren't feeling very funny.
No, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it would be if there was more dating stuff to talk about. I feel like that would be good, but unfortunately, you are past your dating and playing the field days.
Right. I'm a married man.
And I'm in them. However, there's not a lot going on to talk about. I mean, we told the Hinge story. Other than that, there hasn't been a whole lot to report on.
Okay.
I wish there was. I've had a couple of strikeout moments that we've talked about a little bit. There's Cryotherapy Girl. There's Sally Marvel. I fall in love.
I love those stories.
Yeah,
I love those stories.
No,
I think the people love those stories too.
Yeah, this one though, I'm kind of glad. Like I said, I'm kind of glad that it happened the way it happened though, because I wasn't sure where I wanted that situation to go, and it took the onus off of me. There was a lot of things about it that made it just not such a great thing, but still, when you feel like you have something going and you're getting a little attention and the flirty stuff is fun and blah blah blah, and then the rug pulled out from under you, even though it wasn't anything that I thought I was really wanting to pursue long term. All the little fun stuff that came along with it is gone. So
are we still talking about the show or
what show?
Our show.
Oh,
the big
this is a show.
The podcast.
Yeah. When you and I get all flirty,
you're saying all the fun stuff is gone. Like
yeah.
we gotta sort this out.
The chemistry between you and I
is
just dead.
Yeah, we gotta strike the chemistry back up. What if you want to do like some show and tell or something, or like
do you? I mean, we did bring up some if situations earlier tonight. I mean, I like that idea. We just need to make sure we come to the table prepared with them. Because if we were going to go in a different direction, we also have to completely rebrand ourselves, which I guess isn't a big deal. We got 9 subscribers on YouTube, maybe 5, 4.
We have 9 subscribers?
Maybe I'm confusing subscribers with views. I know a lot of the views.
Yeah. We have the views. I think we've got about 5 on one, or 6 maybe our highest.
No.
But subscribers?
We have 5 subscribers.
Really?
Yeah.
Can we see who they are?
I don't know. I will look into that. You would think we would have the. You would think that it would be something we could see.
Yeah, I want their email addresses.
Yeah. So we have 5 subscribers. Our highest view on YouTube was our most recent one, titled "What if you're dancing for men in a cigar room?" And that has 19. That has 19 views. Yeah.
Nice.
The lowest one is 11.
The lowest one is 11? That's great.
It goes 11, 13, 13, 13, 14, 19. So
Oh my gosh. I don't know who is making it through, but thank you. Thank you. Thank you. If you are a loyal listener to this podcast, then you have made it to minute 57 of episode 9. And we want to hear from you. This is your turn. On episode 10, we're going to break 1 to 2 questions from real listeners like you if you email us at thebigifpod@gmail.com.
Or DM us on TikTok at thebigifpod. Send us a message. Tell us one of your horror stories. We'd love to talk about it. Ask us a nonsensical hypothetical question, a big if you will. Maybe we need to get our listeners engaged and involved.
I think you're right, because that's how people grow these days. It's not about you and me.
No,
we could just go and chit chat, and people would just loathe us after a while. Everyone would drop off, right? So it can't just be you and me. It's got to be about the people.
Okay, here's what I want. I'm going to post this on TikTok. It'll be on the YouTube feed. I want your biggest dating app horror story. Whether you went out with somebody and met them in person and you got catfished, or they bamboozled you into a free cheesecake factory meal, or you could tell by what they said that they had been stalking you for months leading up to this. What happened to you on Tinder, on Hinge, on Bumble? Give me your horror stories. Maybe somewhere down the line we'll do the positive stories, but for now I want the horror stories. Send them to us at the Big If Pod on TikTok, or the Big If
Pod on TikTok,
or the Big If Pod at gmail.com. Send us your horror stories. We'll read them on the next episode. Send them to us.
I love it. That's 2 different outlets, and if I can just throw down one, as we call it in the business, CTA, a call to action, is that send me whatever kind of animal you think you'd like to run with. It doesn't have to be the bulls, but if there's a specific animal that you think that you'd be comfortable running with, or that you'd be scared about running with, or maybe one that doesn't even walk on land like a shark, talk to me. Send me one at the Big If Pod on TikTok and the Big If Pod at gmail.com. That's going to do it for this week's episode, for the 9th episode. Who knows? The 10th will come out.
Season 1, episode 9.
Yeah, season 1, episode 9. I want to thank my co-host D'Angelo, and keep on asking big if questions, people.
Goodbye.
Bye.